Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Katina Lee, and today I'm going to show you how I made my own flip over wig. If you are new, please make sure you subscribe and hit the notifications icon to stay up to date with my content. And let's get into it. So first I'm starting with my dome cap, and I am resizing my cap to fit my head measurements so that my wig can fit nice and snug to my head. Now, this is the second cap that I used. The first cap that I used actually had the stitched lines so that you know exactly where to sew your tracks. But that cap, even when I resized it, still fit a little bit loose in the middle section of my head. And the second time I did my wig, I used a dome cap, and when I resized it, it fit so much better. Now, don't be worried about the stitch lines. You can actually use a white pencil, and I actually used like a lip liner pencil, and I drew my own lines, so I knew exactly where I was going to lay my tracks. And here I am actually getting started on the first bundle, and I believe I decided not to add the hair onto the very nape of the neck, like the band of the cap, because it's fairly thick. And one, I didn't want it to be too full in the back, because the more hair you use, the fuller it's going to be. I also decided to redo my wig cap. One, because the first time I did it, I had way too many tracks and it was way too full for me. I honestly was looking like a Shaka Khan, and I didn't want it to be that full. I wanted it to look natural. That's the whole point of having the flip over, is to kind of make it look like it's your hair. So with the second time around, I decided to space out my tracks, especially starting from the back. The hair is curly, so it's going to have a full look once it's wet, or even when it's dry. So you don't have to use too much hair. Now, towards the front, if you want that fuller, more banged look, then yes, you can add more tracks and you could double your tracks. But with the back, I decided to go ahead and just space it out a little. For sewing the tracks itself, it's fairly easy. Now on the corners of the hair where your track is going to end, you want to poke the needle through the track and then double knot it on the end, and then fold the track over so that it can lay flat, and then you can go ahead and begin the next row. And when I'm sewing, I'm normally just going through the cap and looping my needle through, almost like I'm tying a knot. It's not hard. You don't have to be a perfectionist. Again, as long as your tracks are like neatly spread out and you are making sure that they're not going to come loose if you comb your hair, you're good. However you know how to sew, sew. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want to make sure that you're not leaving gaps between where you thread, and that your threading is tight enough to not come loose when you comb your hair. needle through and I'm wrapping the thread around twice and then I'm pulling it through the cap. And I'm repeating this process all the way through until I get to each corner of the cap. Then that's when I knot it, fold it over, and then start to lay the track on the row above. Laying my tracks probably took me about an hour, which really wasn't that long the second time around because I kind of knew what my method of sewing the tracks down was going to be. So it made it easy. Um, I would advise that you have 5 or more needles so that you can thread them in advance and keep going and working as you go because once you stop, you're going to have to if you only have one needle, it's going to take you longer. So my advice would be to make sure you have 5 or more needles, thread them up, and keep them flowing so that your process can go smoother. And now here we are almost closing in this gap. This is where I kind of got a little lost because I didn't know how I wanted my tracks to fall forward, to the side. I ended up redoing the whole front track because I decided to do it the opposite direction so that if I wore my hair pulled back, you couldn't see that track in the front. So I did decide after I did this to redo that front track. So you'll see. So here we are. I redid the front track and I actually like this method better. One, because it's easier for my hair to blend, and when I wear my headbands, or if I wear my hair pulled back in the front, like a updo, half up, half down thing, it was easier to blend. So shout out to the lady I got this idea from on YouTube. I'm not gonna put no names out there, but yeah, this was actually a good idea. This part also gets a little tricky because I want to make sure I close in the gap, but where you can't see the thread. So it was a little hard to kind of squeeze all the tracks together, pull the thread through what was already threaded. It was a little challenge, but I was able to get through it and it looks amazing at the end. You'll see. Keep watching. Also, keep in mind the band of the cap is very thick. So when you're pulling that needle through, you're going to have to pull it. You might feel like you're going to rip your thread, but The thread is strong enough, so don't be worried about that. Just pull that needle through because that cap is very thick. After a while, your fingers will start to feel funny just from pulling the needle. I'm not gonna lie, I was tired, and I think it was already maybe 11 o'clock once I got to this part, but I was determined to just go ahead and get it done. I didn't have anything to do. It wasn't like I had to go to work the next day. I just really wanted to get it over with and have it ready for when I went out of town to the Eagles and Cowboys game in Philly. We are officially done with this last track, and the results were amazing. Look at that. Here I am trying it on, and I was so happy. Now I am braiding my hair down so that I can stitch the wig to my perimeter. And I'm just twisting, two-strand twisting the front pieces that I'm going to leave out so that when I'm done, I can blend everything perfectly. And I actually left this like this overnight because I wasn't going anywhere the next day. And it worked out. I just put my headband on and went about my day. Here I am fighting with my little baby hairs. I'm not a pro, and I normally don't leave out a lot because I like it to look natural. The two back pieces that I had hanging for my braids, I decided to go ahead and sew those down. And I'm using white thread so that when I cut this out, it's easier for me to see what I'm cutting and I don't make a mistake and cut my hair. Time to get started sewing the perimeter of my wig down. And you want to take your needle, poke it through your braid, and then sew around either to the right or the left. And I normally do from the left to the middle and to the right and to the middle. So I would suggest having at least 2 to 3 needles threaded for this process. Now, the first thread, I went ahead and like knotted it so that it can stay in place. The rest of my thread going around, I don't double knot it. I just loop it through. Um, and I don't do it too tight. I don't pull too tight because once you're finished, it's going to automatically feel tighter around your head. So my advice would be not to pull your thread too tight once you loop everything around. Now I'm done and I'm just wetting and combing through the hair. And as you can see, it is not moving. I actually wore this wig for 3 weeks and everything was still intact. Next time I apply this wig, before I put it on, I am going to color it jet black so it can blend with my natural hair because I do have a jet black color in my hair now and it was a little off with the color, but unless you really knew, you couldn't really tell. But for me personally, I can tell. And I will also reshape it because it does need to be evened out since I redid it twice. The cut itself is not even. Okay, your girl is feeling herself, and I'm so happy I decided not to leave out too much leave out because last time it was so hard to blend, but I got it this time. Little is more. It's gonna fall forward, so you really don't need a lot of leave out when it's curly and full. And this is what it looks sewn all the way around. As you can see, it's nice and snug. That thing is not going nowhere all the way around. All right, once I look like something, I'm gonna show y'all the other results, like how you could style it and what it would look like once I take my leave out and blend it. Okay, but this is it. I'm gonna I'm not gonna put too much product because I want the curls to be like soft. You feel me? And I just washed it too, so I'm gonna just keep it with some water because the curls that I had when I washed it was so pretty. I hate to have to brush it out, but I'm gonna look a little like something. I'm gonna run some errands. I think I'm gonna just throw a headband on because I'm not really going nowhere. I just need to go to the store. And that way I can leave and I twist it until I either go to work Monday or maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Just so I could get an idea of how it looks. I probably will take it out tomorrow so I can see what I need to do. If I need to um, ride it or mount it, which I really don't want to put no heat. Like I really don't want to have to put no heat, but if I have to, that's what it would have to be. Like this is it. I'm happy with the results. I forgot about my wig. And this is how I'm going to it. Oops, back. See, this time I didn't leave a whole bunch of leave out around the sides because I didn't want it to be like hard to blend like it was last time. Some days was a little difficult to blend, so I would just literally twist it. No, really braid it. I would braid it down and put me a headband on just like this and camouflage it so you can't see nothing. And I would wear it like that all week at work. Thank y'all for tuning in and watching. If you're new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and hit the notifications icon and stay up to date with my content. And here's just a few styles the next day. It was so cute and I'm so in love. Hope you like it. Bye.